Okay, minions. We're looking at standards 4.5 and 4.6, covering public opinion polls over the next 3 videos. The first video, we're going to be looking at the types of polls, polls like tracking polls, interest polls, and exit polls. As you can see here are the AP standards. Describe the elements of a scientific poll is a big part of this. So, what is public polling anyways? It's the survey of how people feel about a particular issue, event, or person. All right, so just help us gauge how people feel about these different issues, events, or individuals. And one of the first types of polls we're going to look at is the tracking poll. And this is a poll to measure how opinion changes over in time in regards to an issue, candidate, or policymaker. So this is a way for us to kind of see how people's opinions change over time. Approval ratings are a good example of tracking polls. We use these a lot for the president to see how the American people feel about the president on any given day. From usually from the beginning of their presidency to the end, we see a drop off in approval ratings. We call it kind of the honeymoon period. When a president first comes in office, they tend to have the highest approval ratings they're going to have. And just as things happen, they tend to become less and less popular. Benchmark polls. These are actually done by candidates before they enter into an election usually. They measure the electability of a potential candidate and help them find potential supporters. So it's just kind of a way for them to kind of test the waters to say, okay, how likely am I to actually get elected here? Do I really want to put myself through that? And if I am going to do it, who's my voting base? And who are the people who are likely to give me money so I can go seek them out? So usually the first poll a candidate will use before entering into a race. Entrance and exit polls. These are conducted outside the election sites, and they're used to help predict the outcome of an election. So there's a way for them to determine how's it going without having to count all the votes. All right, so and they also help them determine like which particular groups are voting and how they're voting. That's that demographic portion. And focus groups. This is less of the traditional poll, and this is more just a small group brought together and to ask more detailed questions. Now, it's less scientific because of the sampling is not going to be perfect, but you can get a better feed for how people actually think, and you can get more insight and feedback from these types of focus groups. All right, the next video will be covering public opinion polling, but looking at the methodology.